what do we got in this vending machine here? Coffee, 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 green tea, Melon's cream soda from Calpis. Like a good Calpis melon soda. That looks interesting. I know I'm gonna hate it, but why not try something new? Oh my gosh, this is gonna be gross. Oh, what is this? Calpis. It is cold. We got that on. Somehow they found a way to put the pleasure of ice cream in a melon soda. I like the ice cream and the cherry, but the melon soda, maybe not so much. How you doing, everybody? I don't need this. In this episode, I'm gonna be talking about the semi-open is not open. What is a tourism situation in Japan in August, and what's been going on over the last few weeks. Peter and I just got back from a Hokkaido adventure, motorcycling, and also we were RV camping around the country. And you don't need to wear a mask if you're by yourself outside. As you can see, I can social distance everywhere. And we're gonna try this drink as well. There's a lot to talk about over the last few weeks since the last update before I left to Hokkaido. It's been a few weeks, and I still have not seen many tour groups. Again, the reasoning behind this is that people just can't find them, and the people who do find them don't want to take them. Again, one of the famous phrases that I heard from somebody that everybody has been saying is, we don't want to be babysat. We want to travel. We want to go where we want to go. And I believe more and more we're seeing that that's going to be a reality very sooner than later, and I'm gonna explain why after I down this thing. Either the drain, oh, or my stomach. Oh. I'm conflicted. Mubarak, I will not be sending this to you. This does not pass the test. He told me that one of our Toby seats told me that he had one of the best drinks in Japan was a melon soda, which is the Fanta melon soda, and I'm trying to find something that might be better. This fails, but this is a complex tasted drink. On one side, there's this like a sweetness and a creaminess that's odd, because the rest of it is bubbly, and then there's this like sweet sugarness that just punches you in the face. And this is the face. Okay, hold on. That's melon cream soda face. You can say a picture says 1,000 words. That probably says a lot more. All right, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta dump this. And let's color check. Oh my gosh, that's why. Oh, that's so nasty. It's not a waste, it's an experiment. You know, you don't have to drink it all in an experiment. Recycle the can. It was totally worth it. I wonder if he's getting the melon soda. All right, I want to take you through some of these alleys here. This is I live in Chuo Ward, which is one of the 23 wards of Tokyo, and this is a place I come to very often because it's just awesome. They have some good bakeries and some nice restaurants in this area as well. And again, some of the coolest alleys with what we call nagaya, which are these row houses, and you can see them really well through the alleys. These might not be around much longer, so another reason. There's a shrine at the end of this, which is pretty good. All right, let's get back to it. WRX Turbo is in the house. I see Michael Sassano is here. Welcome home. Welcome home. We go right into the travel updates. And Arthur's here. Thank you, Arthur. It's nice to have you joining us. There's no new news, but I've been fairly accurate in kind of predicting the direction of this, saying that Japan will open up in steps, and sure enough that they did. It's just hard to determine when. Now, I think it's gonna be really soon, guys. I don't think that they could, let's walk through an alley so then the signal gets really bad. think it's gonna be really soon. Do you wanna know why? Because right now, all right, for 2.5 years, look how quiet it is in here. For 2.5 years, Japan has had one of the best, I don't know, lowest, I don't wanna say best, lowest infection rates of COVID in the world. You just didn't see it impacting a lot of people. And then suddenly over the last month, it's just skyrocketed. And right now, Japan is the worst in the world. And I got lots of theories about that too. It just maybe perhaps people's immune systems are not as strong. People aren't getting enough vitamin D because they're not going outside enough. Everybody is, and also the young people. Here's some right here. The young people, I'm talking to you. You're not wearing any masks when you come into large groups of other teens, and then you bring it home to your families, and that's how the infections, I believe, are getting around. Most people in their teens and 20s are the ones getting it most, and then infecting their families, and then they take it to work and it spreads. But you know what? We're past that part where we get upset about things like this. We're just, I don't want to get into monkeypox. That's like a completely different issue. Let's stay in the shade here. Completely different issue. But my point is, because we're seeing infections like skyrocketing, it's no longer an issue anymore. Japan is no longer this island of a safe haven from what is a pandemic, and it never really was. But politically, it was politically people are backing this slow reopening, and you got to do what the will of the people is. Now, there's other reasons why you might not want to travel to Japan right now, and I'll explain that in a second. But my prediction, my crystal ball, is October. We will see the next step. Maybe September, but October we'll see the next step because Japan will be rolling out the next Omicron vaccines, and that might make them feel safe enough to say, look, there's nothing we can do about this. We've already seen what this thing can do. So we've vaccinated, we've done everything we can. Open up the gates. I think that's gonna happen in October. Because why wouldn't it? Right now there are hotels that have been waiting since June when Prime Minister Kishida announced it, and they're empty. Even during the holiday, they're gonna be busy probably during the Obon holiday, which is next week. But when we were going around Hokkaido, there weren't a lot of places that were full, and I didn't see a lot of tourists, although we were going off the beaten path. But in Otaru, we had rooms that were available in the hotel we were staying at, and that's an amazing location, a very popular hotel, mostly empty, I believe. Sapporo, the hotel we were staying at, Central Sapporo, mostly empty. They're just waiting for the foreign tourists to return, and I'm gonna guess it's gonna be in the fall. I don't know what the next step is going to be, other than just open the darn country already, you know? But I explained in the last update why probably Japan is holding off on opening up, and the biggest reason is just because in Japan there was something in the news about, let's keep moving. There's something in the news that, I'll take you to this red bridge, which is really nice. There are people at work being, at lunchtime, asked to not speak when at work so as not to get other people sick in the area or in the cafeteria. This is a very Japanese thing, and I know that the Westerners won't understand this, but you have to respect the way that Japan wants to do things, because here it's always like a community thing, especially when you're in your group or your team, a circle. Everybody does the same thing, and we do whatever we can to protect one another, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense. If it can reduce the risk by 1%, it seems like it's worth taking, despite the inconvenience to so many people, including all of you out there. And I'm giving this example because it's a perfect illustration. They're asking workers at some companies, not all, not to speak when eating. And this is one of the things where they believe that a lot of the transmissions are coming from. I don't think you can really stop it. Just get sick and get over it already, right? But there's a couple of reasons why they do this. And the inconvenience to the group of people to save 1 or 2 lives is something that is just at the core so Japanese. And the same with tourism, to inconvenience all of you so that we could keep Japanese people possibly uninfected. That's just something that, you know, is something people are willing to, that aren't in the tourism industry, of course, willing to do for the case of keeping a few people safe. I don't agree with it. You probably don't agree with it. You probably don't even understand it. But it comes, the longer you live here, the more you can kind of understand the mentality, and you just learn to accept it, and that's the way it is. So I'm guessing, though, there's a point now where people in Japan are just fed up with the pandemic. They're fed up with the rules, the regulations, but they follow them because they're being told this. But now it's becoming unpopular, like, oh, I'm gonna stay home from meeting my grandparents because they might get sick. Nah, everybody's been vaccinated, the boosters are out there, everyone's getting a 4th vaccine booster, there's nothing more you can do, so people are just gonna be going home during Obon to see their parents. It's not like 2020 anymore, which is another reason why this thing is exploding, because people are moving on with their lives. People are taking off their masks, and this thing is getting out there because it's so hot. You could possibly get heat exhaustion, which is killing more people than this pandemic right now in Japan. So there you go. The mask policy is something that is very sensitive with Japan. Public transportation, crowded areas, indoor locations. You might not want to wear your mask, but come on. This is just something that is part of Japan, and probably you should be wearing a mask if you visit Japan. And I think there's some feelings that Westerners might not understand this, and it kind of disturbs the harmony of the community here. And I can agree, because I don't want to wear a mask. After going to the United States and walking through a Walmart where nobody had a mask on except for like one person who was considered to be weird, because I think someone said, that person's weird. I don't know. After 2 weeks of that, I was like, well, you know, it's kind of nice not to have to wear a mask. But when we wear the mask here, we're thinking about the people around us. And if foreign tourism comes in, especially from the United States, where there's such an anti-mask culture that we see on the news, in a community setting, you don't have to wear a mask everywhere. But in like on trains, in crowded places, at a concert, at a soccer stadium, people that aren't wearing masks are the weird ones here. So you're not doing your part to keep the people around you safe. Despite your own desire for personal freedom, there's a community freedom of not having to worry about getting sick. So there's another side to it that I think some Westerners might not understand it, but what works in your country doesn't work here. But now with Japan exploding in infections, you can kind of understand, yeah, maybe this isn't working because people aren't following the rules because they're just tired of it. And I think that that's what it comes to. Oh, listen to the sounds of summer. For lucky, one will fly right at me and disturb my harmony. So that's about as much as I can preach about. I know that it is super frustrating for so many of you not to be able to make it, but I'm gonna say this, and here's my prediction. Revenge travel is a real thing, okay? I'm so sweating. I'm after 10 days in Hokkaido, where the temperature was 12 degrees Celsius or like 55 degrees Fahrenheit in the evenings, this is murder for me. Oh my gosh, this is so hot. Hey, Street Shadows here. Hey, John, thanks for these updates. My wife and I are looking to return to Japan tourism in January 2023, I think you mean, for a 30th. Do you think it's safe to assume? Yes. Street Shadow, I would say January is going to be just fine. There's not much more that Japan can do. You cannot stay closed. If they're waiting for an Omicron-sensitive vaccine, that's coming in October, right? They announced it in the Japan Times. If they're waiting for COVID rates to decrease, it's never been worse than right now. I don't think that Japan is a protected place anymore, and I think that we're seeing that in the numbers. Japan is kind of embarrassed to be the worst place right now for infections. It's a fact now. Even John, I forget his name, the doctor, the nurse who's giving all the information on COVID, John Campbell, is showing the graphs, and it's like Japan's like this, and then so people are over it, I'm pretty sure, and they just want to feel safe, so they're wearing masks, even outdoors. Like right now what I'm doing is probably weird, but the government says when you're by yourself, there's no one around. You can talk, and you don't have to wear a mask. And I was just tested, so I'm fine. So I mean, John, I've been following you for many years since. So I'm looking at all these comments. Before this your new channel. Thank you. What are the reasons for me and my? You are the reason me and my wife are thinking about making a move to Japan. Wow, to raise our children. Love you, man. Well, thank you, and thank you, Street Chatter, for becoming an insider. Yeah, that's a whole other episode. The only issue I would have with raising kids here is the schooling is radically different. Whereas, I don't know, they don't teach your kids to think critically, but there are so many advantages to the other side of it. And I've talked with Peter about it because his son goes to Japanese school. There's a lot of things that you have to do. Speaking English is not a strong suit in the Japanese schools, but if you can afford international school, that's an issue. That's something that's a possibility. It's like $30,000 a year, I believe. I have to do more Kickstarters to afford Leo's school or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'll talk about that in another update, maybe with another father, because that's an interesting topic here. My prediction is October of 2023. We'll see the next step. And it could even be sooner, but by October with the vaccine for Omicron rolling out, I don't even know if it works. I don't even think it matters anymore. People have just moved on. We didn't cancel our trip to Hokkaido because of it. We're just taking our precautions, and we're traveling, and I think a lot of travelers are going to do the same thing. Question, do you need to be vaccinated to come to Japan? Answer, I think if you're not vaccinated, there's a very high chance that you'll have to quarantine for like 3 days until you can show a negative test. There's a high likelihood that by October, this won't be a government program, but you'll have to pay for it. There's a high chance that this might not be the case as well. It's hard to see right now, but unvaccinated travelers have more hoops to jump through when you come to Japan, meaning you have to be tested on arrival. I'm guessing that the quarantine thing is going to be history as well by 2023, if not by October. I don't know. So there's that. There's the mask mandate, which has never been a mandate in Japan. A lot of tourists don't like the masks, but you're still expected to wear them, which is, you should be polite about it. When you walk into a restaurant and you're a stranger, all right, and you're not wearing a mask and you refuse to wear a mask because it's my right as a customer. Maybe it's your right, but it's also the restaurant's right to refuse you too. So there's another side to it. Like, I would refuse you. Like, if you didn't give a damn about wearing a mask anywhere, you're probably at high risk to catch this because you're an irresponsible person in the eyes of people here. I understand that if I'm going on a train, I always wear a mask. On the airplane, I was wearing a mask. I was even wearing glasses. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to do what I can to protect my family, and yeah, we're gonna get sick, but there's not much you can do about it. And Japanese are starting to sink in too, as we see everybody's friends getting sick. Kanai's friends, I think half of them have become sick. Kanai's students are sick. She's worried that she might be sick. She's like, didn't want to kiss me upon return. And I said, well, you know what? If you have it, it doesn't matter. Just kiss me, because if you have it, I'm going to get it anyways, right? I'm not going to not kiss Leo. I do cow licks too. What father doesn't do cow licks to ruin their child's, mental capacity by going, what, other parents do that? No? No? No. All right. I don't really do that. I'm just kidding. Peter's, I think Peter's at the, I didn't do no cow licks on Peter. He's on an airplane, I think, or getting ready to go to it. No, weird. Yeah, you know what? I used to have this neighbor who would chase down the little kids and she would cow lick them. In light of the pandemic, that would be wrong, but I think it was wrong even then in the 1980s. She'd chase us down and we would run. I seen kids that didn't like exercise or failed physical education. When she came out of the door, kids would run. That's when you want PE in your life. And she'd do like this, and you have this big wet thing. And we cry to our parents. Our parents didn't do anything. All right. So, yeah, cowlick lady. It's a bad memory. I wouldn't inflict this on any kids, except my own. Let's see here. Akas writes in here, how safe is it to walk in the middle of the night where you are? What is this city anyway? This is Tokyo. This area is called Tsukishima. Tsukuda. It's an island in Tokyo, about 5 minutes to Tokyo Station by taxi. All right, it's like one of the nicest places to live, and it's also such a weird neighborhood because it's so close to Ginza and to Tokyo Station, and you'd be 100% safe walking out here at night. There's so many police boxes, and I've never heard of an attack here in Chuo Ward, actually. You know, what is the bathing culture in Japan? I made like videos on that. Told by Abe. Mask plus high heat plus humidity plus virus plus not immune people minus tourists, still outbreaks. It doesn't take a scientist to say that young people are gathering in large groups because of the summer vacation and they're not wearing masks. And the teenagers are probably hooking up, doing their thing, going to the riversides, down by the river, doing their thing, taking off the masks, drinking their not alcohol in that can type of stuff, and sharing their doobies or whatever they do, you know, and they're getting more than just what they think they're gonna get. They're getting COVID, and then they're giving it to mom and dad who let them go down by the river to do all this stuff, you know. It's not the good citizens who are wearing masks and trying their best. It's the kids down by the river. The ones doing this is the one. The bottom line, stay away from the river and you'll be safe. I don't know. When I was a kid in high school, I wasn't in the popular group, so I didn't have a girlfriend in high school that came in college. I had plenty. Yeah, you know, when you get away from this, you know, in the popularity contest, you go to a new school from an out-of-state new school, you can be popular. It's a whole new start over. So I don't know what kids do down by the river. Although in Ohio State we had the Olin Tangi, but we call it the Olin Grungy. So I don't think kids are doing anything down by the river. Except the crew team, which rode. You'll end up living in a van down by the river. Some people have seen that skit. Don't touch your mouth. New attractions in Tokyo, like art exhibits or museums. There's a bunch of stuff. Look, I was at the Tokyo Skytree a few weeks ago to film the window cleaning for an episode on the main channel, which is pretty freaking awesome. I was outside, like over 600 meters, I guess. Now, maybe not that high, but I was pretty freaking high up there, looking down with just a cable, watching them clean the windows. How awesome is that? But I forgot my point. Oh, so I was working with the manager for PR manager there, and he told me that he didn't really encounter any tourists yet. And then he was in a CNN article, Ami-san, just last week, that said that he saw his first tourist group on like July 27th or something. So Japan opened up on June 10th, and the Skytree saw their first foreign tourist group visit at the end of July. So that's sort of weird, right? So I'm guessing in August we're gonna see more tour groups this month. I'm gonna be going around a little bit and looking for them. I think I'm gonna do an active tourist search at Asakusa. Like I'm gonna look for foreign tourist groups and accost them. Is that the right word? I'm gonna go talk to them, that's better. And ask them, you know, from a distance maybe, if I go like this, I can have a stick or something. Maybe I gotta stay away because there's a chaperone. I don't know if he's gonna chastise me. Hey, you, get away! Like, I don't know what's gonna happen if I go try to, do they have a bubble around the tourist group? I mean, what do they do? Are they roped in? How do they go? Do they go early in the morning when there's no other, like, citizens around? I'm not really sure. I'll do it live. I will completely do it live. I'm gonna go to, like, a tourist spot in Tokyo and look for them. There were reports of tourist groups at Meiji Shrine, reports of tourist groups in Asakusa, reports of tourist groups at Skytree, so we're starting to see more tourism, but Nobody that I talk to wants to take the package tourism. Now wait. If I change the camera, it's like everything just changed. Hey, Angel Forever, how you doing? Now wait. Hold the presses. So I got news from somebody who's emailed me on Instagram that if you can hear me over the cicadas, if you take a tour group and the tour group finishes and you happen to want to stay, you will be able to stay longer. You can change your visa to longer because by that time you would have been quarantined and you would be virus-free. It's a rumor. It makes sense though. You can change your visa or whatever to extend it upon arrival. Now this is a common thing in Japan. It's once you get here, it's easier to stay here. But getting in is hard. But once you're here, staying here is easy. So you can extend your visa possibly, or maybe the tour group just gives up on you. I don't know, but you could change your flight and maybe not go back. I don't know for how long. A loophole, possibly. This is all new information that came to me just the day before yesterday, and my jaw dropped and said, like this. And knowing Japan and the way things work here, extending your visa is easy, but getting the visa to come in is hard. And extending has always been easier. It's not renewing your visa, it's extending it. So, that's my mask, I thought it was a bug. So this is something that just came in here. So isn't 90 days the mask? I don't know what it is now. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a tourist. This policies are changing so quickly, but I heard from a bird on the internet that some people were able to, depending on the tour group, to stay longer and extend their visa and then travel more freely. Just saying. Something to ask about if you decide to take a tour. Matt, not that bird. Matt, not that bird. Okay? Different bird. And we saw a lot of them in there. Oh, by the way, before I end this live stream, we got 4 days left on the Kickstarter. 605 people backed, I believe. 4.45 million yen. Peter and I are just over the moon. If you want to back the documentary and the postcard, that's still available right now. We'd really appreciate it. The solo pack, the Tenegui, and the eco bags are ordering it in 4 days as soon as the Kickstarter campaign ends. And then in September, we start to send this stuff out as soon as Peter gets back and the stuff comes in. And the documentary, we believe it'll be done by the end of September, sometime in October. Peter's going to help me out with that. And from what we filmed, it was a significant amount of things that you did not see, Kathy, on the live stream, okay? As disappointed as you might have been, you didn't see it because it was a Kickstarter-backed project. We just brought people with us in the live streams, and we did Shiretoko Falls. There were so many places where there were no 4G signals up there. So the documentary is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be like 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours long. We were filming everything. We have, you know, the onsen baths up in the most remote parts of Hokkaido. We have an Ainu museum where they let us film, which is something unique. They let us film as media, a canoeing, food, Ainu food, a ritual dance. So we're going to explain that the best that we can in this episode. We motorcycled for 5 days and RV for 4.5, 5.5 and 4.5, and we have an amazing adventure. So I really hope that look, you know, a long format video like this, I want to do this once a year because I think it's different than, it's just different than what we do on YouTube. And I already asked my YouTube advisor if maybe you, instead of Kickstarter, maybe YouTube can start to have these creators who want to do movie-like content to be able to do this and then create a way for people to like buy it or download it or rent it like on YouTube, because every YouTuber that does something like this, there's great costs. My friend Greg took 2 years to make a documentary. I would want him to get a decent amount of money from that. And I think he could have, I think he put in so much time and he did it as a passion project. I have so much respect for Greg Lamb as a creator. Just the love that he has for this country and the content he makes, it's inspiring to me as a content creator. And we inspire each other by patting each other on the back. We love Greg Lamb. And you know, he put in so much work and effort and research into this. I was hoping he would have made more, because there's not enough places to monetize this when you do special work like this. A YouTube video, you know, if you get, these type of topics don't do well. YouTube doesn't suggest them, so they're not going to make as much money. Full-length movies like this, so it gets lost in the content. And Greg's video is now released for free on YouTube. You guys might want to check that out. It says Becoming a Japanese. I backed that on his, I think it was Indiegogo. I was so proud to back that when he put it out there. Always back your friends. And you know, he put it out on YouTube for free. And I probably won't be doing that with the Kickstarter video for a while. But you know, I can understand, you want to, after putting in so much work, you want to make something out of it. So a huge amount of respect for what he does. Go check that out on Life Where I'm From, Greg's channel. Leave a comment if you do, and share some love for somebody who put in so much effort and so much work into that. Inspires me as well as a creator, and probably inspires you when you watch it. It's so well done. I back my friends, OnlyFans. They appreciate it. I think so too. Always back your friends. Always support your friends. I'm glad I could take Peter on this. Peter didn't charge me for doing the Only in Japan, and he never charged me for doing narration for the show, and he doesn't charge me, although I buy him lunch and dinner, and I do give him some cash sometimes when people give him some money. And Peter, I got to give you the gas money for the Moto Vlog super chat, but and by the way, YouTube does take a pretty hefty portion of it. This is why I always say you should back on Patreon. It's like quite. I see Patreon as support and YouTube membership and super chats as YouTube super chats as a gift and just a fun, spontaneous thing. And Patreon is a way to support creators. I think they take much less, and that's pretty cool. So Peter is a friend. Yes, of course he is. For 14 years he's been my friend. Half the time we've been in Japan, we both had more hair when we met. Jem, thank you for backing for 1,500 yen, that postcard. Thank you, Jem, just got the notification. Do you need a tourist visa if you are to visit if you are American? Right now, Suede, you need a tourist visa. But what I was saying is if you come in through a package tour, you can work out a deal to extend the visa to stay longer on your own. That might be a way to get the benefit of having not a lot of tourism here, not a lot of tourists, having empty attractions right now. But, you know, it's expensive though to do that. My name is also Peter. No, it's not Robotech85, it's Robotech85. Everybody knows that. John and Peter are like bros or teenagers. Rainer, very well put, since we destroyed our credibility by eating melons inside of a microphone. Kathy didn't approve. Can you get a package deal if you already bought a plane ticket? I don't think so, Natsume. You have to buy the package deal separately, and there's some really, look, package deals are kind of not bad because it does support tourism offices that have been suffering for ages. So, I mean, everybody wants to save money, including myself, but I also want to support businesses that I don't want them to go out of business. So I don't know, I have a mixed feelings on this whole package tour thing, but the caveat is if you can extend and stay and then travel on your own, and it's your first time in Japan, I don't know, maybe you want to do it, but if you're going to revenge travel, I don't think that people are turned off enough not to travel to Japan like, oh, I'm going to travel to South Korea because I'm pissed off at Japan not opening up. And once Japan opens up, those people are going to come to Japan. It's just too good here, okay? All right? It's like the revenge travel for COVID where you're saving up your money. That's happening, all right? Japan's missing the revenge travel. So I hope that Japan opens up, and when they do, the revenge people are going to come. No one is going to say, oh, I am so angry. And people who angry talk like this. I'm so angry. You're going to come here anyway. So just stop that. if you're watching this channel, you're also just like me, love Japan very much. You're gonna be here. If you're watching a travel update, you're probably gonna be here. You're also missing summer, and we have all these bugs in the trees here called semi in Japanese. You hear them? See if I can see one. If you see one, it's good luck. Just made that up. You see one? You can hear one. Sometimes they jump on you. See one? I don't see one. Usually they hide pretty good. They're so loud. Why can't I see one? Gosh, Aiken writes in here, COVID paid for my motorcycle. I finally saved my money. I didn't get any, as an American citizen, I didn't get any of the COVID benefits or packages. I feel like I'm a patriot. I don't know. I'll just take the money from Japan. I don't know. But that's pretty cool. You know, you take it and then you pay it back in taxes. That's what happened. My taxes went up. I don't see anything. That's about it. I hope that I'm gonna keep doing these updates at least once a month. And if anything breaks, I'll be back here with some good news. But I think it's really important to keep talking about this to give you a feeling of what's happening here. So you can feel it out. I know that a lot of you want to come to Japan, and I completely understand the uncertainty for Japanese who like to book things 6 months in advance. I mean, come on, we got to get people a heads up here. So either we're going to see this in September. I think this month is not going to happen. Japan's just finding a way to get through this new wave here. So after that happens, I believe they'll open up, we'll hear the next step. I don't get to travel, so saved. That's true too. I've actually, because I didn't eat out a lot, I've saved up a little bit more too, but we've been actually ordering food and started to eat out before this pandemic hit. So I think everybody was saved. That's the deal, right? Everybody was saving a little bit of money for travel, for when they could travel, and they're saving it to travel nicely. So luxury tours and hotels are people that are traveling are traveling well right now, because they don't know, they just want to after being shut in, and Japan's missing that. Yeah. By the way, just before I leave here, I love this area. Guam has opened up to Japanese tourists again, I think without a quarantine, and they are expecting more Japanese tourists to come. And I hope it's reciprocal, because we would have, I miss our Guam friends. I'd like to see more Guamites come to visit Japan, because they're our neighbors, and Kanai and I are dying to go to Guam. If you live in Guam, let me know, because I want to do a Guam meetup. I want to meet everybody, because Kanai's been to Guam with her family 3-4 times, and she tells me how beautiful it is, and I haven't been to Guam. It's my own country. So I want to do an episode in Guam. Guamarians, is that what it's? Guamaranians. I love Guam, and I've never been there. It's just like, so Guamese. Send me a direct mail. Yeah. But I would plan, if you get a ticket in September, there's concern to be worried. If you're planning in October, then you probably have a greater chance of it not being an issue. But we haven't heard from the government on the next step. And until we do, it's always going to be some uncertainty, and it's really hard to book. Your best bet is to book a tour, talk with the tour guide or the tour company, and ask if you can extend your visa and travel, because you will have been traveling for an extended amount of time, and of course you're COVID-free, so it makes sense. It makes sense that you would be okay. By the way, I lost my gimbal, and I just bought a new one, and this one is great. The last one which I lost, named Kathy, is stuck in Nemuro somewhere. At the easternmost point. So this came in 14 hours after I ordered it from Amazon here. Incredible. Kelvin, Guam, well, what are like New Jerseyans are called New Jerseyans? I mean, each state, Californians, for example. So yeah, Guamites are called Guam Americans, right? Just like, here's one for you. Why do I have to write the country as Puerto Rico when Puerto Rico is part of the United States? aren't Puerto Ricans Americans? But I have to write in like it's San Juan PR and then the zip code, which is 000 or something, which is kind of cool. And then you have to write Puerto Rico. But I always write USA. But it decides to write in PR as the country code. So I don't understand what's up with that. So I'm with you on this. I don't understand. David Yoshimoto, you're right, I'm Japanese. In April, I purchased my plane tickets from LAX to Tokyo for November. And I'm just praying that Japan lets me in by then. David, I can't imagine them not, because again, they have the Omicron variant vaccine rolling out probably the first month to medical professionals and then to the rest of the people by November. So this thing's gonna be over. Just will this thing warp? Is Japan waiting for it to get worse so that they can say, oh, we told you so? I don't know. But from what we see with this blast of infections here in Japan being number last, I can see they're just going to open it up, and I don't see any more. I don't see people wanting to keep outsiders out as much. Maybe monkeypox. I don't know. I don't see people wanting to keep outsiders as much as they did about 6 months ago or a year ago when this started. P.S. Australia opened up. Packages are inbound to our Australians. Canada is still closed. I don't know why, but Jason and all our Canadians, Catherine, all of our Canadians who are waiting for packages and stuff, I'm on the ball, and we're gonna get this out to you as soon as possible somehow. I'm gonna go bust down Japan Post mail. The post office, Japan Post, is a great indication of how traveling will return. And since Guam is adding more flights from Japan, this is a really good sign, showing you that traveling is returning to Japan. There's some normalcy coming. So if there are more flights now between Japan and Guam, that means there are going to be more flights between Canada and Japan and the United States and other countries. And this is such a good thing. It's happening. You see it, but you don't see it in the action yet. So keep up hope, because I want to see some smiling faces here, and I want to do some meetups, and I want to give all of you a hug, and not a cowlick. It was a joke, all right? And when I see you, and you get rid of these I found you cards, which have the old logo and stuff. I love this place. If Puerto Rico were a state, then it would be PR. Yeah, but they ask me when I write out the labels to put the country as PR instead of US, and I thought that was weird. Blue Army writes in here, hi bro, I'm going there in October as a group tour. Hey, I will try to go back next year, April. What do you think about April next year opening up? Yeah, definitely Blue Army. This has to end. There's no way this continues with everybody having access to vaccines, Japanese all having had it sick. The stigma of being a COVID survivor is gone now, because everybody knows somebody, like 5 or 6 people that have had it by now. It's all over. It's a wash now, and I think tourism will open up. I don't know if they'll have a quota or what, but I can't see it not opening up. I can't see it not opening up. All right, I'm gonna get to my bicycle here. I still want to see John trying this stick thing. Oh my gosh. I got so many, yeah, I got so many stories to tell you too from Hokkaido, and safe travels to Peter. And thanks so much everybody for watching the live streams. I'll be editing a lot. I'll try to do as many of these as I can, live streams, but I'm gonna be turning to editing now. I travel next Saturday to Shikoku to film more main channel episodes, so I need to get 1 or 2 episodes out really fast, because this trip was so exhausting. I just couldn't do anything at the end of the day. I just fell. We backed up footage and fell asleep. So I got so much content to edit, so I better get to it. Have a good day, everybody. See you in the next live stream or main channel episode. Next one is the melon auction. Why does Yubadi's melons cost $46,000? And what exactly do they taste like? You kind of figured it out in the live stream earlier, but I went into great detail in the main channel episode. It's pretty fascinating. See you, everybody. Support the Kickstarter. 4 days left.